Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. Sitting in for Pinky Webb, I'm Tanjuatco-Trillo. Today on the program, the campaign period for national elective posts kicks off today as candidates are set to stage proclamation rallies in different areas nationwide. The Commission on Elections sets new rules and restrictions for campaigning amid the COVID-19 pandemic. And what are the measures in place to keep candidates and the public safe from security threats? Philippine National Police Chief General Dionardo joins us live. Just 90 days to go before the Filipino votes. Presidential candidates will hit the ground running as they formally launch their campaigns and attract voters amid health and economic crisis. In Luzon, Labor leader Leody de Guzman and former Congressman Walden Bello, as well as presidential candidate Faisal Mangondato, will be in Quezon City. Mayor Isko Moreno and Dr. Willie Ong will be in Ermita, Manila. Lawyer and Dr. June Montemayor will be in Pasay City. Former Senator Bongbong Marcos and Mayor Sara Duterte will be in Bulacan. Senators Ping Lacson and Tito Soto will be in Cavite. Vice President Leni Robredo and Senator Kiko Pangilinan will be in Camarines Sur. And in Mindanao, Senator Manny Pacquiao and Congressman Lito Atienza will be in General Santos City. Ernesto Abella and Norberto Gonzales have both said they will hold their proclamation rallies at a later date. CNN Philippines will take you to the proclamation rallies for those running for the presidency. Here's Anjo Alimario with a preview from Naga City in Camarines Sur.
Supporters are painting the social media in pink. And here in Naga, it's no exemption. Posters and tarps of Robredo are proudly displayed in buildings and establishments. Streets are adorned with pink banderitas. But that show of support is multiplied by the energy and overwhelming love of Bicolanos for Robredo. Robredo will try to make history as the first Bicolana president. That's why she chose to hold her proclamation rally together with running mate Senator Kiko Pangilinan and her Senate slate in her hometown.
Yung kulay roses ang bukas, ito yung aspiration natin. Ito yung aspiration natin na kung gawin natin ang tama, kung magiging matapat tayo, makakaasa tayo ng pagbabago.
Survey frontrunner former Senator Bongbong Marcos will hold his kickoff at the Philippine Arena in Bulacan with Vice Presidential candidate Davao Mayor Sara Duterte. On the eve of their proclamation rally, they met with local officials of Bulacan and held motorcades which culminated with a town hall meeting in Malolos.
Natanggap po ang mensahe natin ng taong bayan dahil sa napakasimpleng dahilan. Tanggap na tanggap po ang mensahe natin ng pagkakaisa dahil ang Pilipino po ay nasa ugali na ang magkaisa. Ang Pilipino po ay mapagmahal. Hindi tayo pala away. Hindi tayo naghahanap ng gulo. Ang ugali ng Pilipino ay makabayanihan. At pag may nakikitang naghihirap, tumutulong.
Senator Panfilo Lacson will be in his home province in Cavite on Tuesday, the second most vote-rich area with over 2 million voters. He will be with several senatorial aspirants under Partido Reforma, including former PNP Chief Guillermo Eleazar, actor Monsur del Rosario, and Dr. Mingita Badilla.
Outdoor yun sa amin, pero ang usapan namin, i-maintain na lang natin yung physical distancing. Sabihin na nilang medyo sparse yung crowd, pero at least may disiplina tayo. Yun ang lagi namin ginagawa, yung disiplina, napaka-importante sa panahon ng pandemya. Isipin mo, magra-rally ka, dikit-dikit, tapos magkakahawahan. Di nag-contribute ka pa sa problema.
Boxing legend Senator Manny Pacquiao will be with his fellow kababayans in General Santos, where he will have a caravan before his proclamation rally. He was busy on Monday distributing generator sets to NGOs in Cebu where hundreds of residents are still without power following the onslaught of Typhoon Odette. Manila Mayor Isko Moreno's kickoff rally will be at the Cartilla ng Katipunan. He'll be joined by his running mate, Doc Willie Ong, and 3 senatoriables.
As much as possible, simple, modest proclamation. As much as possible. Talaga ako gano'n na hangga't maaari ako susunod tayo sa alituntunin kasi kung gusto natin mag-lead, di ba? Kailangan mapakita rin natin sa tao na tayo mismo nasunod sa sarili nating mga pinatutupad. Yung mga kalaban natin, mga higante. Pero sinabi rin sa Biblia, si Goliath tinalo ni David. Ibig sabihin, sa Diyos, walang imposible.
And Labor leader Leody de Guzman will begin his journey on Tuesday from his hometown in Cainta and will bring his fight to Bantayog ng mga bayani.
That was Anjo Alimario reporting from Naga City in Camarines Sur. Let's now go straight to the source of the story. Philippine National Police Chief General Dionardo Carlos is joining us. General, magandang umaga. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. Now, several government agencies met on Monday to discuss the guidelines for today's campaign period. And of course, we know that it will be a very unique campaign period dahil sa pandemya. Sir, could you share with us what was discussed? Yes, General Carlos, can you hear us po? All right, we are trying to get PNP Chief General Dionardo Carlos back on the line as we would like to ask him the preparations that the Philippine National Police is making as the official campaign season for national posts kicks off today. We will also be asking him what the guidelines are, what types of things will be allowed and won't be allowed during the next 90 days or so. But as we mentioned earlier, presidential candidates, most of them will be kicking off their campaigns today with rallies across the country. As we said, Labor leader Leody de Guzman and his running mate, former Congressman Walden Bello, will be in Quezon City. Of course, Mayor Isko Moreno will be in his bailiwick in Manila, in Ermita, to be specific. We've also got Senator Bongbong Marcos and his running mate, Mayor Sara Duterte, in Bulacan. Senator Ping Lacson, together with his running mate, Senate President Tito Soto, they will be in Cavite for their event, and Vice President Leni Robredo will be with Senator Kiko Pangilinan, of course, in Camarines Sur. All right, we will be taking a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our source today, PNP Chief General Dionardo Carlos, and he joins us live on the line. Magandang umaga, General. Now, sir, several government agencies met on Monday to discuss the guidelines for today's campaign period, which we know will be very unique dahil tayo po ay nasa gitna ng isang pandemya. Could you share with us what was discussed?
Yes, umaga po ma'am, and to all the viewers po ng The Source. Yesterday, we had our second Comelec chaired by the acting commissioner of the Comelec, si Ma'am Socorro Inting. And then it was attended by the AFP Chief of Staff and the Coast Guard. Ito po kami po yung mga deputized agency of the government. So, the Comelec, and discuss na po during that meeting are all the Comelec resolutions pertaining po dito sa campaign period. And yun po, on the part of the Philippine National Police, we reported that we will have a standard security package for candidates that are going on their campaign o yung kanilang pangangampanya. At pantay-pantay po yung aming pong gagawin. At the same time, if there are peculiar requirements, we will assess it based on the guidance of the Comelec.
All right, sir. When you say standard security package, ano pong kasama doon?
Opo, we deploy security team. If they make the necessary early arrangements or coordination, we look at the site, we look at the venue, we look at the route, we look at the movement of the candidates and the activity to make sure that the conduct of the campaign, yung kanila pong pangangampanya ay magiging safe for everybody, including yung pong ating pong pagsunod sa ating pong minimum health standard protocol because we're still in the pandemic time.
That's right, sir. So, ano po ang main concern ng PNP regarding the Comelec rules?
Well, unang-una yung safety ng mag-attend sa mga big gatherings ng kanila pong campaign o yun pong kandidato at saka we help out in making the assessment. Kaya po yung meron po yung mga advance team or liaison or focal person, doon po kami nakikipag-usap para po handa namin yung seguridad, the security for the conduct of the event. And then yung specific requirements for the candidates ay tinitingnan namin naman po kung enough yung kanilang security team or security system for the candidates.
All right, it's going to be a very busy 90 days ahead. So much logistics to organize. What are the preparations made by the PNP during the campaign period?
Opo, we discussed it already in the past two PNP command conferences and we will have another assessment by February 16 para tuloy-tuloy po yung amin pong adjustment if we need to adjust. So logistic, yung pong mga available manpower and yung aming mobility and communication system to be utilized by the security personnel or PNP personnel to provide the security for the candidates during their campaign.
Sir, how many PNP personnel will be deployed for this particular period?
Depende po sa requirements. But ang sinasabi po nga namin, we have a standard security package. The security package includes one security team that would be tailing the candidates when they move site or venue, depende po sa size of the venue. We will provide them with area security. And then we make sure that yung pagbabantay naman po ng following the health protocols ay mayroon po tayong tumitingin doon sa pagsunod ng health protocols. But these are all, again, it will be a responsibility on the security team of the candidate. We will be assisting. Hindi ho lahat yan ay sasagutin o gagawin po ng ating PNP. Ang amin po ay seguridad, making sure that the public that will be attending their rallies or their campaigns ay sumusunod at sila po mismo ay sila ay nagpapatupad ng tama para wala pong nababiolate sa guidance or sa resolutions na ginawa po ng ating Comelec.
General, lahat po ba ng mga presidentiables ay nag-request na for assistance sa PNP? Is that something you can share with us? And if not, sino-sino na po?
Opo, may mga coordinations made na po. Like for example, the one in Bulacan, the ground commander on the site will be the provincial director himself. So meron pong kung anong lugar ay ang ating pong regional director at ang kanila pong provincial directors are the one that will be on the ground. And then we have our integrated command center and our command and communication center in Camp Crame that monitors and record the activity. So each area ay meron po silang REMAC, yung Regional Election Monitoring Action Center, that becomes our nerve center for the monitoring of all the election-related activities. So nakaset up na po yan. All they have to do is make a coordination in advance, let us know their plan, we review the plan if this will be for the security of all, and when we implement it, we are there to assist the candidates or the team of the candidates to ensure the safety of the candidates and the public that will be attending these kind of activities.
All right, thank you for that, General. We will be taking a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Please stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. The Commission on Elections issued guidelines for in-person campaigning amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Tristan Adalo tells us what's allowed and what's not.
Stiff penalties await those who will violate the Comelec rules as the official campaign period begins. Authorities say that a no physical contact policy aims to protect both the public and the candidates amid the pandemic. In-campaign activities will be allowed in areas under alert level 1 to 3. The number of a candidate support staff will also depend on the existing alert level. The poll body also allows the conduct of caucuses, meetings, rallies, and meeting de avance in areas under alert levels 1 to 4. Alert level 1 will be allowed 70%, while alert level 4 will only be allowed 30% maximum capacity. The said activities are prohibited in areas under alert level 5. Based on the guidelines, house-to-house campaigns are not allowed. Crowding that violates minimum public health standards is also prohibited. Handshakes, hugs, kisses, going arm in arm, or any action that involves physical contact between the candidates and the public are likewise not allowed. Taking selfies, photographs, and other similar activities that require close proximity between the candidate and their companions and the public will also be prohibited. Distributing food and drinks will also not be allowed. The Interior Department and the Philippine National Police are beefing up measures to ensure compliance with the Comelec guidelines.
Medyo mahirap talaga, no? Ito nga yung isa sa mga pinag-uusapan namin kasi ang sabi nga mismo ni Secretary Ed Anyo, mas mahigpit pa itong Comelec resolutions kumpara dun sa regulasyon ng IATF, no? But nonetheless, we will do our best unless luluwagan ito ng Comelec. I understand may mga petitions na to the Commission on Elections na luwagan ng konti depending on the situation on the ground. Pero hindi kami aasa doon.
So pag coordinated, we always have a standard security package based on the need to make sure that they are secure during their mga campaigns. And then if there are other requirements, we'll make sure that we are following the instructions or the Comelec resolution.
The DILG adds that violating the Comelec rules is tantamount to an election offense, which means that violators may face fines, penalties, imprisonment, or disqualification. Tristan Odalo, CNN Philippines.
And still with us here on The Source, PNP Chief General Dionardo Carlos. General, thank you for still being here. Now, let's look at the campaign guidelines for in-person campaigning, which was just in that report earlier. Would you admit, sir, na medyo mahirap i-enforce yung mga to?
May challenge because of the current situation. That's why part po ng team namin yung DOH kami po as deputized agency of the Comelec. We get guidance also from the DOH. Kaya these are all integrated para po dun sa conduct of yung ganitong mga activity. So, kakayanin po natin, hindi po kami tumitingin dun sa problema. Huwakan na po kami ng solusyon para magtuloy-tuloy yung ating pong gawain para magtuloy na po ito. Hindi. Sabi ko nga po, if this is the new normal, we work with the new normal. Hindi ho namin gagawin problema yan para maganap yung dapat nating gampanan na tungkulin para sa ginagawa ng ating gobyerno.
So sir, if ever magkaroon ng violations, who can file charges if these acts will be committed? And what would make such a complaint legitimate?
Opo, if there are violations, ang approach namin dyan ay unang-una, mag-warning muna. Kung talagang they blatantly would like to violate the rules, then that's the time we file cases or a complaint against those who continue to violate the guidelines. So kami po, susunod po kami. We are committed to the Comelec being the lead agency. Kami bilang kanila pong deputized agency. We will always be working because this is one government working for the people.
So you mentioned, General, na may warning yan. Ilan po yung mga warning?
It's based on the ground. Hindi namin sasabihin isa o dalawa. Ang sinasabi natin dyan, katulad doon ng pagpapatupad namin ng may mga malalaking mga gathering, yung sinasabi natin maximum tolerance. Dito po, we will accommodate as long as hindi po blatantly, hindi po dinidisregard nila, yung intentionally. So it is how it is going to be assessed on the ground. And sabi ko nga po sa ating po mga kasama sa PNP, hindi ito unang beses na tayo ay nagtatrabaho sa eleksyon. So alam mo natin ang dapat natin gawin. Ang gagawin namin ay yung tama at yung pong paglabag sa batas, kami po ay nagpapatupad ng batas, gagawin namin. Pero kami po ay madali pong ibig sabihin ng ating PNP in our implementation of the guidelines is we make sure that we address it in such a way win-win for everybody.
Right. Sir, can ordinary citizens report to the PNP if in case may makita silang violation of Comelec rules?
Yes, they can do that. Saan, lugar, sino, paano nangyari. If these are all reported to us, we go out and validate the information given to us. If there is a violation of the law, we address it. We tell the violator kung maaari, kung hindi, kung talagang disregarding, then we look at the violation and file a complaint against them.
Now, we know that a lot of these violations or complaints are often shared on social media. So if a person were to complain to the PNP about such violations, would screen grabs of social media posts be enough to substantiate complaints?
No, because that is airing it into a big social media platform. Ang kailangan dyan iparating sa amin. Wala akong stasyon, wala akong munisipyo na walang police station. Our isumbong is there in social media. We have sites where this can be reported. We have our hotlines. So if you just post it in the social media, what we do is patrol, is cyberspace patrol. If we look at it, we address it, we validate it. Pero that is not a formal complaint. It's pag inere mo lang sa social media platform, it is addressing the public. Pag specific information, directly give it to us so we can act on it.
All right.
Cellphone, isumbong iba't ibang platforms.
Okay, if they present you, sir, with a post na nakita nila sa social media, is that evidence enough for you that there was a violation?
That is an information that we will validate. If indeed there is a violation, then that's the time after investigation, we will assess it. If there's enough evidence to file a complaint, then we file a complaint.
All right, now we know that Philippine elections are always very heated and intense. This year obviously is no exception. I want to talk about hotspots. Have you identified the hotspots within the country? How many do you consider hotspots and where are they?
Meron po, we'll give you the data, but we are looking at the red areas. Ito po yung grave concern. And in the meeting, it was suggested by the Chief of Staff, and I agree with him, that we go there on the ground and these warring candidates or politicians, we bring them to the table and address it. Ano yung mga dapat magawa para hindi ho magkaroon ng violenteng insidente. We are monitoring ito pong mga considered as hotspots. Yung green zone, we keep it at green. Yung red zone is an immediate grave concern. I-address po namin kaagad. So mga lugar po ito ng bar at saka another region. So very small number naman po yan. Ang kailangan ay bantayan namin as early as now, bring them together and make them commit that they are part of a peaceful election. Pag hindi po, the military and the police under the Comelec will act on it.
All right. What needs to happen in a particular area, General, in order for you to classify it as a hotspot?
May mga depende kasi may apat na classification, ano. So, we can post the requirements, ano, ay yung criteria. Ito ay may mga in the previous elections ay may mga ganun na klaseng mga insidente, may pagpasok o panggugulo ng private armed groups o itong communist terrorist group kasi nagagamit po ito na manggugulo. Yung tinitingnan namin the heated political rivalry in the area based on historical records. These are all factors for us to look at whether they are a hotspot or not.
All right. Lastly, General, we know that there is a gun ban in place. Have there been any violators apprehended so far?
Dumadami po yung numero. We'll give you the exact number. Every day po, I'm given at 6 a.m. in the morning the figure. The Chief PIO can provide you with the current data. Kasi nasa field po ako ngayon. I'm in the Eastern Visayas area. I lost one good officer and I want to see our hero. That's why pasensya na po kung mahina ang signal because nasa field po ako ngayon.
We're so sorry to hear that, General. We appreciate you making time for us in spite of the circumstances. Maraming salamat po, sir. That was, of course, PNP Chief General Dionardo Carlos. And thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Tanjuatco-Trillo. You're watching CNN Philippines.